It's on Monday, the 1st of July, and 4 of the county's biggest and most well-known employers will be working together to help secondary school teachers and college teachers understand more about modern recruitment and application processes, which we hope will help you to prepare your students for their next steps after school and college as they enter the world of work. Over the next 10 minutes or so, we're going to introduce the concept of this teacher encounter, let you know why you should register for it to attend, and the impact that we hope this will make on you and your students and your colleagues back in school or college. So, first of all, let me bring in Paul Grogan, Pre-Employability Manager and Work Placement Executive for Tesco. I probably butchered that a little bit, Paul, whose headquarters are in Welwyn Garden City, and that is where that's going to be the venue for this session. So hi, Paul. Firstly, why are you then, as a group of employers, working together to run these workshops in July?
Thank you, Gareth. As a group of employees, we've come together through the Careers Hub to try and tackle some of the biggest, the big ticket issues that we know affect schools, colleges and businesses. In December, for example, we heard from a head teacher who told us they felt teachers would benefit from having a better understanding of how to prepare students for the world of work, particularly recruitment and the application processes.
Fantastic. Okay, so we know this is something that there's need for it. So schools have told us there's a need for this sort of workshop. Now, I mean, Paul, coming back to you, you see lots of young people coming through the recruitment process. So whether that's meeting them at careers events, whether that's actually them coming in for interview or being part of that process. They may be apprentices, they may be graduates coming through, having gone through university as well. But what are some of the general concerns that employers have about these young people's readiness for the process?
Okay, it's a great question. For example, academic results are always spoken about, but depending on what the project is or program, for example, Strong Starts Retail, academic results are kind of immaterial. Predominantly what we're looking for is those employability skills. So we want to see students how they talk about them skills: resilience, teamwork, communication. That time they take to research is a big one too. So what we see a lot of, what we don't see a lot of sometimes, is not prepared. So not just about the kind of jobs working for a large company like Tesco, but values. How do their values reflect those of a big business like Tesco? They're the kind of things we look for first and foremost with any employee, be it in the office or be it in our stores.
Sure, and as I'm sure we'll find out, a lot of the things that you're asking for there, that's not specific to Tesco either. That will be true of probably most employers. So that's the sort of thing that we want to really bring to all of these teachers' attention when we run this session. So thanks, Paul. So alongside Tesco, who are hosting this session, by the way, on your screen at the moment, you've got the QR code there. So that's where you go to register. I should say as well that it's completely free, these sessions to come along to. You can register via the HOP platform, which I hope that teachers will be aware of, the Hertfordshire Opportunities portal. So follow that through or just look up HOP to find the registration. So some of the other employers that are supporting this event, say in collaboration, are we have MBDA, we've got Morgan Sindall, and we've got the NHS. So they are all leading on this session together. So I'd like to also introduce Nikki Galvin from West Essex and Hertfordshire ICB, although you'll probably tell me there's a different name that we should be using. We've got 2 workshops. So one is in the morning, so that's 9:15 until 12:15. And then the afternoon slot is 12:45 to 3:45. So they're both exactly the same workshop. So you only need to come along to one of them. We want teachers to come along and attend this. But Nikki, tell us why. What will teachers actually gain from coming along to these sessions?
So the workshops will be relevant for any teachers or staff that provide guidance to students from sort of years 10 to 13. So it doesn't matter how long you've been teaching for or what subject you cover, how many students you work for, the event will be helping them to help the students on their career journeys. So throughout the sessions, we're going to be showcasing different recruitment and application methods we all use. A little spoiler, we don't all use the same. You'll get to experience some of these methods as well. So how we evaluate candidates pre and post and during the different process stages. We hope that they enjoy the event, but most of all, we hope that it helps them to prepare students in coming weeks, months and years ahead. So yeah, we look forward to seeing them there.
Okay, well, That's fantastic. You've alluded to it already, but clearly there are some common themes that you all as employers look for. But do you think, Nikki, sometimes there's a bit of a disconnect between what young people think employers are looking for and what you are actually looking for during that recruitment process? And this is obviously where we want teachers to be that conduit between those two. But I mean, can you tell us what perhaps are some of those differences?
Yeah, so especially within the NHS, clinically, you need your qualifications and your experience, etc. But most of our placements don't always need those qualifications. It's more on a people. If you're compassionate, caring, considerate, work well as a team player, you'll fit great into the NHS. We're all about grow our own. So, you can come to us as a healthcare support worker, show your enthusiasm, your eagerness to help others, and we train you. We do on the job training. We can train you into a specific role. If you then wanted to be a nurse, we can then potentially look to put you on an apprenticeship. So it's all about career pathways, and just remembering that where you end isn't always where you start from.
Sure. Okay. Thank you, Paul. I mean, let me put that same question to you. What are those misconceptions maybe that young people will be given in schools or at home, very well intentioned usually, that maybe don't actually translate to what you're actually looking for when they come to you in that application process?
I think it's a great question, and I think kind of Nikki illustrated it brilliantly actually, because working for a retailer like Tesco, you automatically think of, pardon the pun, but bread and butter is our stores. And that's where a lot of young people start. But that's not where you end all the time. We have a multiple amount of opportunities at our head office in Welwyn Garden City, which some of it we'll talk about on the day. But it's about the enthusiasm, it's a skill set. There will be some roles that are graduate based, you will need some kind of university degree. As I mentioned earlier on the call, there's Strong Starts Retail Apprenticeship for young people 16 plus. That is predominantly about actually a passion for retail, a passion for working for a company like the Tesco, enthusiasm, and showing all those key employability skills. So there's loads of opportunities. We have our grad programs, but we have a lot of direct entry programs as well for the right young person.
Sure. So on the day, we'll be able to talk you through, well, how do you actually prepare your students for when they get involved in this process? And that we've got two very diverse employers on the call at the moment, and you guys obviously both be there on the day. We've got two other employers, one representing the construction industry, one representing the engineering industry. So I think between the four of you, you'll be able to really paint that picture of, well, how should students be prepared, whether it's actually for seeking jobs and those opportunities in the first place to what that final interview or what that assessment might look like. Paul, let me come back to you because you say you are hosting the event at your fabulous facilities over in Welwyn Garden City. Just talk us through very briefly, without giving away any spoilers, what's on the agenda. So in that 3-hour window that teachers are coming out of school for, what are they actually going to find out about and what are they going to do?
Yeah, so not me spoilers here, Gareth. That's a really good point. So we've got the two sessions, one in morning and afternoon. We will welcome and set the scene for the day. We're going to outline what the day is going to be. Essentially, hopefully by the end of this, we're going to be kind of helping teachers understand the modern recruitment process and how best to prepare students for applications and those early stages of onboarding. We'll then be going into details about when to apply, and each of these sessions will be delivered by one of our fantastic kind of education and learning partners. So MBDA, NHS, Morgan Sindall, and Tesco, of course, in conjunction, we'll be showing all our little secret hints and tips throughout the day, what employees look for and how to prepare students. So I spoke briefly about these importance of academic results up to a point. But we're looking at skills and potential first and foremost. So we're going to talk through how we identify those skills on these processes. Then we have a bit about hints and tips. This is where we'll speak to some of our grads. And our grads will be able to talk to us through what they look for when they first kind of join Tesco or the NHS. What do they do to stand out? Any advice they'd give students who will be coming up to where they were a few years ago. We'll have a natural breakdown. We'll be having tea and coffee and biscuits. We'll briefly touch on online applications. So all about employees, what they're looking for in that application. It's not always about that CV. The importance of work experience, for example, volunteering. And we'll also be sharing good and bad kind of examples of applications. And we'll then be looking at interview styles and break down the different types of questions they'll be asked. And again, we'll be across all 4 businesses when we talk through that. We're then looking at a Tesco-led group assessment. So I believe we're going to be looking at some type of desert island interactive session. Very similar to what we do in our discovery centres when students go through, or young people go through, our recruitment process for some of our programmes. And that would be an opportunity for us to talk it through, and the teachers will be able to interact with us throughout that session. We then have a natural break, which will lead us on to the Q&A panel, where we hear from our apprenticeships panel. And if you've got any questions in advance, I'm sure there's a way to submit to Gareth and the team. We'll wrap up and close, and there'll be opportunity kind of to network afterwards as well.
Sure. Well, that looks like a fabulous agenda that's been put together by you and the other employees like Nikki that you've been working with to put this together. So it's going to be really interactive. It's going to be really informative. And ultimately, teachers are going to come away from this feeling far more confident in how they can support their student. So particularly those from sort of year 10 upwards, when they're thinking about that preparation for the recruitment process. Many of them may go on to university, so it may just be sowing the seeds for something that will happen further down the line. But this is really, really relevant. It's very much industry led as well. So I'm really looking forward to being part of that. So we still have places left, more so in the afternoon. We're looking to get probably north of about 30 delegates involved in each workshop, which will mostly be school and college teachers. We may have some careers professionals as well joining us who will also have those one-to-one interactions with young people. So if you haven't booked already, please do have a look at this. Follow the QR code on your screen there. So you'll have the option of booking on for the morning or the afternoon one. I know there is more availability in the afternoon. So use that QR code. Do have a look at the HOP page as well. I do also want to make all of you teachers aware of a brilliant resource that we've got. It's a bit of a tongue twister, so bear with me on it, but you'll find it through HOP as well. It's called the Apprenticeship Twin Track Application Toolkit, and it's been written by HFL Education, and it is a guide for supporting you as teachers to work with students from year 12 onwards, ready to get them thinking about what an apprenticeship application, which we'll definitely cover on the day as well, because I know you as employers all offer apprenticeship starts as well, running that at the same time as they may be looking through the slightly more formulaic UCAS process. So we hope that this session today has helped inform you about what the Teacher CPD on the 1st of July at Tesco looks like, why it will be of benefit for you, and why you should book on. So if you've not done so already, please do book on. We very much look forward to seeing you on the day. So thanks very much for your time. Thanks to Paul and Nikki as well, who you will see on the 1st of July.
Thank you, Gareth. Look forward to seeing you all.
Thank you.